Okay, so I am back at Rambling Roots Hostel. Um, Yesterday I went to Stecoah Gap, got a shuttle up there, which is like 13, 14 miles north. And then I did like 6, 7-ish miles south, spent the night at a hostel there, and then today did the 6 or 7 miles down that huge hill. I did not know how to heel lock my boots. The boots are doing great to keep my ankle tendons all happy. Um, but with the downhills, I'd already had a blister from the downhill to Teleco. So I got 2 new blisters today. So I went to the NOC and talked to some guy there. I kept calling him by the wrong name. His trail name's Mello, or rafting name. I don't know if he's a rafter or a hiker. But he showed me how to heel lock my boots. So I should be all set for the downhills now. I didn't have to get new boots, didn't have to get anything. So that was really good. From Stecoah up to, I think it's Sassafras Shelter, maybe. There was a couple of spots that were like straight up and then down and then straight up and then down. And on those straight ups, I was kind of coming to the end of myself and just like, what's wrong with you? You're just walking. It's just pain. It's just whatever. Not pain, but just like annoyance with myself that I'm not like the most in shape, whatever. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but like if I'm not perfect at it, then I am the worst at it ever, and I should just quit and just, nobody likes me, everybody hates me, I guess I'll go eat some worms kind of thing. So like I remember starting, I think it was EMT school, I had this huge textbook and I hadn't started school yet, and I was like complaining to my husband that I don't know anything in the book and like I should know it all. And he was like, that's why you're going to school, to learn the book. But in my mind, I should already know the book, even though I haven't read the book. Like, I should just know it. I should be perfect. If you're a failure, see video 1. So anyway, like going up these hills and just having to stop and not be in shape and pause really bothered me, that I couldn't just like fly up these hills. So then I am like huffing it up one hill, and this guy Paul, Paul, he like was coming down and he's like, hey, there's a beautiful view up there. And I was like, thanks. And I'm like barely breathing, and he's like, I saw you yesterday at the NOC. I was like, yeah, I remember you. And I was like, man, this is hard for me, couch to AT, just having a hard time up these hills. He's like, that's okay, it's good fun. And all I could think was, stop with your toxic positivity, get out of here. I didn't say that, but I was just like, it's not good fun. Maybe it will be, but right now it's not good fun. Right now it's like the end of myself, all my failings, all my non-perfections coming to light. So get to the shelter, see another ghost lady. I don't know what it is with these mountains and these ghosts I don't believe in. I'd seen this girl, Junk Food Jen, and she was like, oh, I heard about you, Plain Jane. I know you're staying at the shelter tonight, and Thunder with his dog Stormy and Big Man are gonna stay there. She's like, I thought you were already there. I saw something green down at the shelter. And I was like, oh, okay. So I keep going, and to get to the shelter, you have to like take this very circuitous route on a blue blaze, and you're like going down and around and down. And so I see the green thing, and it's like a plastic bag that's kind of inflated by the wind, and it's kind of blowing behind the shelter, but it's stuck on, I don't know, a briar, branch, whatever. So it's just kind of there. And I was like, oh, that's the green thing Jen was been talking about. And so I like start down the blue blaze, and then I see this woman, and it looked like she was leaning over, maybe filtering water. She was kind of near the green bag, but it was a woman with dark hair. I was like, huh, I'm not alone. This is cool. So it'll be like her and I, and then Big Man and Thunder. And I go around a tree, and then I like turn, and I'm looking towards the shelter again, and this woman is not there. She didn't, like, she was leaning over. She didn't look at me, whatever. She was just there. I saw her. Then I didn't see her, so I thought, oh, she must have gone in the shelter. So like I go around the shelter, and it's a huge shelter, double decker. I don't know, probably fits like 15, 16 people, maybe in a pinch, but like probably 14. And I go around the shelter, I'm like, hello? And nobody's there. And I look at the privy and there's no feet and there's nobody at the water, and she never showed up again. What is this? It's weird. So anyway, I just forgot about her, and then Big Man and Thunder and Stormy show up, an hour or two later, and they set up their tents. So I had this huge shelter to myself. So instead of sleeping like either my head out or my feet out, because the way the double decker was, you couldn't stand up, and I felt like if I got up to pee in the middle of the night, which happens, I was gonna smack my head. So instead I slept like at the edge of the ledge. I think next time I'm in a shelter, at a shelter, I'll take a little tour. So those of you who don't know what shelters are, what they look like, kind of have a better idea. They're all a little different, but they're all basically the same. So anyway, I was like laying at the edge of this shelter, and I knew that Stormy was there. So if like there's any critters, Stormy would alert everyone, and he was kind of in front of the shelter. So I slept okay. I'm still having a really hard time trying to side sleep on this mat. And so at like 11 o'clock last night, I ordered a hammock from Superior Gear because they have like an integrated underquilt. I tried a hammock last year, and I liked the hammock in that I could side sleep because it's flat, if you go diagonal. But I didn't like that, like the underquilt, even when it was like Coyote like fixed it for me and made it perfect, it still was so cold, and I couldn't sleep cold. I sleep cold already, so I can't be cold when I'm sleeping. But Superior Gear has like an integrated underquilt that's kind of sewn into the hammock, and they have all different temperature ratings. So they have this one that's like minus 20 degrees that's supposed to keep you warm. So I was like, well, at least that should keep me warm. And I have a quilt that I had ordered to swap out from my winter sleeping bag that's heavy. So whenever my hammock and the rain fly and the suspension and whatever, they're back ordered a little bit, a couple weeks. Whenever that comes in, I'm gonna have either my family hopefully like drive it out to me so I can see them. But it's also like we have a tree business, and I'm from Nashville, and we just had all those ice storms. So my husband is extremely busy, constantly doing storm damage still for like another month or so. I don't know if he'll be able to get away, but maybe my kiddos can like drive out and see me if they can get along enough to like take a road trip together. But if not, they can like second day air it, and I'll just go to a hostel or something and slack pack for a couple days while I wait for my warm hammock. And I have like a 20-degree quilt that I ordered to go over me, which should be warm enough for the most part. I can always put clothes on if I need to, just to stay warmer. So anyway, all that to say, I have not slept great because I just am uncomfortable. But I did order a new pillow. It came to the hostel today. Again, I'm still at Rambling Roots, still in that same bed actually that I made the last video in. But then I put a lot of videos. It's so rocky, and it doesn't do justice. Like, these are huge rock outcroppings, I think is the word. And then I got to see this cute little toad, well, big toad, but he doesn't look big in the picture, but he was like brown and huge. He was probably like, I don't know, bigger than my hand. And he just kind of hopped one little hop, and I was like, oh, can I take your picture? And so I just kneel down and I take his picture, and then I was like, I just knelt down with the backpack, and I feel stuck to the ground. Like, how do I get up? And I've got my trekking poles, and I'm trying to get up, and it was very like ungracious. I don't know if that's the word. That sounds like the wrong word. It was not graceful. There we go. And then later on, there's like a bunch of boulders like a ton of boulders that you just kind of like pick through. And one I slipped on, and I fell, and my butt hit this big sharp rock. So I feel like my butt cheek will have a good bruise on it. But I sat there and I was like, does anything really hurt? Is anything broken? Is anything in pain? And it wasn't. It was just like my butt had a dull ache. And I was like, whatever, I can keep walking. So all in all, it was a good last couple days. Um, so tired. But it was good. So tomorrow morning at 7:15, I'm gonna leave and go to stecoah Gap again, and I'm gonna head towards Fontana Dam. Now, the thing about Fontana Dam is that that's when the Smokies start, and it's a 10-mile climb up. And I was talking to the guy at the NOC today about, like, I've never done a 10-mile day yet, and now this is all uphill, and as we know, like, uphills are not my strong suit yet. Maybe someday I'm just gonna be like the best uphill climber, probably not, but at least I shouldn't fail at uphill climbing. But he said like the first 5 miles is really gradual, and then the last 5 miles is kind of like more intense. And my question was, because I know there's like a $5,000 fine for stealth camping in the Smokies, you have to stay at the shelters. And I said, well, what if I like only make it to like 8 miles up and it's dark and I can't get to the shelter and I just have to pitch a tent? Are they gonna get mad at me? And he said, no, just tell them like you couldn't make it. And he like made me feel a lot better about going up that hill. So I'm gonna attempt it. I'm gonna keep doing this. And I was telling people today, like I'm not a hiker, not an outdoorsman. I don't feel like a hiker. I feel like there's all these hikers around these hostels and they're talking and they love it and they're just like, do you remember this and this and this, and like this was so great. And I think I just kind of feel like an outsider. Like I don't have your joy for hiking, I don't have your love for hiking, and so that feels a little isolating sometimes. But I've always kind of been like a unicorn. So I guess I'm kind of in the same boat that I've been in my whole life. I've always kind of been like, whatever you think of me is wrong. People look at me the way that I look with my hair and all that, and then I'm the opposite of what people consider like the purple-haired person or whatever. Won't get into all that because this is not a political post and it's not a religious post. It's just a real post. I'm just like feeling a little isolated from the hikers. Like everybody's very kind, but it's just like two different worlds. And I said today, I feel like I'm a LARPer, you know, like those people that go in the parks with like the foam swords, and I don't know if it's Dungeons and Dragons or they like play this fantasy game, and they're just playing pretend. I feel like I'm playing pretend as a hiker. People are like, I think you're a hiker. I mean, you've made it this far, you're doing it. And it made me laugh when they said that, because when I was coming down to the NOC today, and it was a lot of down, and like the fact that my knees survived all that, and like I've got a few little like tight spots and stuff that I've been stretching out, but like nothing's super concerning except like these blisters, but I've got hydrocolloid patches on them, so hopefully by tomorrow they'll be a little better. I was kind of like in a moment of like prayer, reflection, contemplation, and I was like, you're going down this trail, you're doing it, you're hiking, you're doing it, you're like doing all this stuff, you're doing it. And I was just kind of telling myself I'm doing it, and then to come back to this hostel, I'm like, you're doing it. It just was kind of like confirmation that maybe I can do this thing, I can do this hike. I will make it to Katahdin. I'm gonna summit in Maine. I'm gonna keep going for whatever it is, 2,000 and something. Like I hit mile 150, which seemed significant, but then also seemed insignificant, because like 150 compared to 2,200 just seems like a drop in the bucket. But also like that's a lot of miles, and I know that I did some last year and then this year, so it's kind of like a combo, but it feels like I'm gonna make it, and maybe hopefully I will, maybe I won't. I'm hoping and praying injury doesn't take me out, and that I can keep going, and that like my timeline, I can make it in time. We have a trip in September planned, so I need to do it before then. And I hope I started early enough, but I'm not really worried about miles yet. Maybe in Virginia I can start doing like consistent double digits, get up to like consistent 15, 20 mile a day days, which sounds ridiculous. Like in my normal life, if I walked a mile a day, that was like a huge undertaking. But yeah, like I got to see like a lot of water, a lot of boulder, a lot of green, and I hear all these noises while I'm walking, and it's usually squirrels, and they're just darting here and there, and then everyone's all like throwing nuts down or whatever, and that's kind of fun to hear, but still having a really hard time going up. But today there were like a few ups that weren't like straight up, and I didn't have to rest every 10 to 20 steps. Like I just made it up the hill, and like this morning everybody was still sleeping, and thunder was right in front of me, and so it was like 6:30ish. I'd been awake for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm not waiting for them. I'm just gonna get up. I'm just gonna pack up and go. Sorry, y'all. It's probably contagious. I apologize. So I didn't cook breakfast. I didn't make my tea. I just packed up and I left. And then all the way down the hill, I was like, I know what I want at the NOC restaurant. I think it's called River's Edge. It's really good. I was like, I want this salad. I want the steak with it. And I want the bread and butter. And so I got there and I was like, I know exactly what I want. And I wanted like a Dr. Pepper. I didn't have a Dr. Pepper. They had Pib Ultra, Pib Extra, whatever. So I said to her, like, I want one of those. Do you have free refills? And she said, yeah. I said, I only want one, but can you refill with unsweet tea after? So I like had like 3 unsweet teas, one of those Pib Extras, because there's nothing like you're burning all this sugar all day long, just throwing all this muscle out. So had that Pib, and my body was just like, thank you. And it felt so much better. And then I hydrated with tea. And then I got back to the hostel, took a shower, hung out, waited. I had to go to the Dollar General and get some like freezer bags, because you can cook in a freezer bag. Like you can add boiling water to it. I'm sure I'm going to add to my microplastic percentage in my body, but it is what it is. So I bought enough meals for like 10 breakfasts and 10 lunches. No, 10 breakfasts and 10 dinners. And I've got some snacks and like some Uncrustables and like a tuna fish packet. So I have enough, I think, to be able to make it through the Smokies, but that added a ton of weight to my pack. So then that also is like, if I have more weight, I might go slower up that hill. Can I make it to, I think it's called Molly's Ridge or Molly Ridge Shelter? We'll find out. So I'm heading north now from stecoah. I'm gonna go, it's gonna take me 2 days. I'm gonna stay at this place called the Hike Inn. The woman there, Nancy, was completely kind, super supportive, telling me I can make it up this hill. So I'm gonna spend a night there. So I'm gonna go tomorrow, spend the night in the shelter. The next night Nancy's gonna pick me up. I'm gonna spend the night in her little motel hostel. And then the next day she's gonna drop me at Fontana Dam. I'm gonna walk to the Smokies and make it up that hill. And then the Smokies, you have 8 days to get through. I think it's like 78, 73 miles, something. So I'm gonna have to do like 10-mile days. But I've not done a 10-mile day. And of course, the first one is uphill, but then it's a lot of ridge walks and stuff. So I feel like after the first day, I can do some miles, get all the way through, and then hopefully take a 0 at the end. I have a friend who I met last year who kind of lives near the Smokies. So I'm hoping and praying it works out with her days off, that maybe I can call her and she can come pick me up and I can go to her house and just like hang out and rest and eat, and then either shuttle back or she'll be able to give me a ride back to the place where I come out of the Smokies, and I keep walking towards Hot Springs. If not, I'll just shuttle to a hotel or something and probably take a 0, because it'll probably be like 6 days is my guess through the Smokies, but it could be 7, it could be 8. I don't know. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm exhausted. But I wanted to make this video because I want to document that, like, I'm doing this thing, and I just want to thank you for being along for the ride. If you're, like I said, if you're in Bryson City, if you're near the NOC, if you are hiking north or south and you come to this area, or if you're just here for like vacation, or they do like rafting and kayaking and stuff, please stay at Rambling Roots Hostel. It is an amazing place to stay. It's a beautiful place to stay. It's very inviting, and it's like 5 minutes down the road from the NOC. Very affordable, very peaceful. She's not paying me to plug this at all. Doesn't even know I'm doing it, but it's been an incredible, helpful, supportive experience here. So, again, thank you so much for your support, for your comments, for your subscribing or whatever. Like, what do they say? Like, subscribe, whatever. I don't know. I don't use YouTube, and I'm grateful that y'all do. I will be more than likely writing a book after this that has to deal with like the trials of my childhood and how God was faithful through that, and then the trials of the trail and how God was faithful through that. And so like the one consistent in my life has been like the faithfulness of God, even in the midst of me being a complete and total disaster. So that's gonna hopefully be the premise of the book. So these are like reminders for me, because sometimes it's hard to just sit and journal at night or brain dump, because ADHD 1, exhaustion 2, and my body just being completely in shock of like, how are you making me walk 6-7 hours a day when you used to like walk around the house and sit on the couch and drink tea? So anyway, I think that's plenty long enough. Thank you so much if you've made it to the end. I really appreciate y'all. I won't say it very often, but there is a link in my bio or description, whatever, I don't know what it's called, to buymeacoffee.com. I think it's buymeacoffee.com/extraordinaryplainjane. I don't drink coffee. I do drink Dr. Pepper, which in normal life I don't, but man, it is so good after trail. So if you want to do any trail magic, that's going to go towards like Dr. Peppers or steak dinners or like hostel. So like if you want to throw $1 for a Dr. Pepper, whatever, no obligation. I just want to let you know that it's there if you decide you want to help. And that's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all being out there. Sending all my love to y'all, especially my family and friends in real life, and in the internet life. Y'all are amazing, and I can't express how much it means when I see the comments. It makes my day. So I appreciate y'all, and take care.